Hello everyone. In today's class, we'll discuss about mechanism of digestion in human beings. So human beings will take the food inside their mouth. Okay, so this is the mouth of the human being. This mouth region of human beings, it has teeth, tongue and salivary glands. The food which is taken inside the mouth with the help of teeth, it is chewed. The food which is chewed, it is mixed with saliva with the help of tongue. This saliva, it is secreted by the salivary glands. This saliva contains enzyme salivary amylase, which will break down starch inside the food into sugar maltose. Now, once this process is completed, the food is made into a mass of ball which is known as bolus. Now, from the mouth, the food will move into the throat region, also known as pharynx. From the pharynx, it will move into the esophagus, which is commonly known as food pipe. From the esophagus, the food will enter the stomach. Once the food is present inside the stomach, the muscular walls of the stomach, they will churn the food or they will grind the food and convert it into liquid form. Also, these walls of the stomach, they will secrete gastric juices. These gastric juices, as discussed earlier, they contain HCl, mucus and pepsin. And this pepsin will convert the protein inside the food into, or they'll break down the protein inside the food into peptides. For example, the larger fragment of protein, it will be broken down into small fragments with the help of pepsin, which is secreted by the stomach. Next, the food from the stomach, it will move into the small intestine. So this is the small intestine. Once the food is in the small intestine, the walls of the small intestine will secrete the intestinal juices. Along with this, the secretion of liver, that is bile juice, which is stored inside the gallbladder, it will also be released into the small intestine. Also, the pancreatic juices will also be released into the small intestine. And together, all this secretion coming from liver, pancreas and the secretion of small intestine itself, they carry out the final breakdown of the nutrients, and that's the reason it is said that small intestine, it is the site of complete digestion. Once the digestion process is complete inside the small intestine, next step is absorption of digested nutrients into the blood stream. So this small intestine, inside the small intestine, there are small hair-like structure which are known as villi. And this is the enlarged view of the villi. This is the wall of the villi and these are the blood vessels of the villi, which are blood capillaries. Once the food is broken down into simple and absorbable form, this food will be absorbed into the blood which is present inside this blood capillaries. And this small finger-like projection villi inside the small intestine, they increase the surface area for absorption of nutrients into the blood stream, so that more and more nutrients can be absorbed into the blood stream. Once the absorption step is completed, the food which remains undigested and unabsorbed, it is present in the small intestine now. From the small intestine, it will move into the large intestine. Once it has reached inside the large intestine absorbs the excess water from this undigested material. And later on, as it is absorbing the excess water from this unwanted undigested material, the food which was actually present as semi-liquid form, it will get converted into semi-solid form. And this semi-solid undigested material, it will be stored inside the rectum. And once the human beings, they get urged to expel this undigested unwanted material, it will be expelled out from the body through the anus. So the food which is taken inside the mouth, it moves in the next part. And this movement of food in the next part of the digestive tract, it is possible due to peristalsis. And what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is wave-like muscular contraction which move the food and fluids through the digestive tract. For example, food, if it wants to move from the esophagus into the stomach, the walls of the esophagus will carry out muscular movements which will push the food in the downward direction, and this is how the food will reach into the stomach. And this peristaltic movement, it is seen in the digestive tract, and it starts in the pharynx region, which is the throat region, and ends in the anus. Apart from this, there are various sphincter muscles present in this digestive tract. Now, what is the role of the sphincter muscle? Let us understand this with the help of example. So, for example, there is a sphincter muscle present between the esophagus and the stomach. So, it is present between the esophagus and the stomach. This sphincter muscle, it controls the movement of the food from the esophagus into the stomach. So, when the food has to be transported from esophagus into the stomach, the sphincter muscles will open up and allow the entry of food from the esophagus into the stomach. So this is all about mechanism of digestion in human beings. In the next class, we'll discuss about one of the important topic, complete and incomplete digestion. Thank you.